to simply explain, today's tutorial will be essentially generating welcome messages automatically using a Google form and using Zapier. Awesome. So the first thing we're going to do, obviously you need to have your Google form. So this is where you collect information based on whatever business you're in. So if you want to just collect data on people, if you want to collect data on customers, if you want to collect some research, Google Forms is actually quite good for a whole lot of use cases. Then we're going to go into Zapier. So Zapier is a full automation tool where you're able to automate really anything that you want, right? So you have a trigger and then you have an action, right? So cool. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to select a trigger, right? You come into Zapier and you search Google Form, right? Awesome. Cool. So you set up the Google Form, you choose a trigger event. This is a new form response, and then you connect your Google account, right? So you can obviously do this across all Google accounts or other various services. So you kind of just hop onto here and you pick your form, then you choose your form. Cool. So the contact information, so I've selected which form it is, which is then this contact information one. Obviously you can choose whichever other form you want, and then you just simply test the trigger, right? Awesome. So once the trigger is tested, then the step is done, right? So you just kind of have to wait for the green light here. Awesome. So then you just continue. So this is the form response that it chooses, just so that, it's able to test whether the actual automation works, right? Then you just continue with the selected record. And then you come here, then you come to the action, right? So you selected the form where you want to generate the welcome message or the automated response. Then you come back into here. You can choose whichever messaging app you use. So you can search emails. There's a whole lot of email tools here, right? I'm just going to choose Gmail just for the simplicity of this, right? Cool. I'm going to just choose Gmail. I'm going to choose event, and I'm going to say send new email. Same procedure as the last one. You choose the account. So the action part is very important because this is essentially what you want to happen once someone fills in a form, right? So this is the automation part. Then you come here. So this is very important. This is where you map the details, right? So you always choose the respondent email, right? So always make sure that you choose the sample text question. Obviously, if you have a pre-filled Google form, you'll see people's emails here, right? Come in here, and then you can then write the subject, which is very important. I'm just going to say a simple one. Thank you for filling in the form. Excited to work with you. Let's clean that up. Cool. So now, this is where you can actually get quite creative, right? So you can actually personalize this. So you can say, hey, and then you map it to person's name, right? So the great part about this is that you don't necessarily have to know everyone's name. So on the body part, you map the field to the input from this. So it's going to use this person's name here, right? Oh, hey, name. And you can say, thank you filling this form. We are excited. So we've basically, you know, mapped Google Form to the Zap, right, or the automation. And right now we're basically writing the copy. So writing the copy is the message that you want the person to receive whenever they fill in the form, right? So in this context, this contact form is for people who fill in this form and they say, hey, I want this thing, I want some help with my business, and we can essentially see on our end, right, what type of help they need. So what we're also able to do is say we are excited to help you with, and then you can just map the field, right? So this maps, whatever they selected here, right? So if someone says business planning, then we'll say here, hey, we're excited to help you with business planning, right? Cool. Then you can probably give a set of instructions and say, please send through a brief of what you need help with, and we'll be in touch. And you can just sign off. Kind regards, Ali. Awesome. So cool. I'm kind of happy with this. You can also add a signature here. If you have a signature on your Gmail, and you can add attachments. You can choose which label you want this to be in, whether it's inbox, whatever you know. So that's obviously up to you. And then, let's kind of like personalize this. We can say, hey, thank you, and then go to their name, filling in this form. And then we could also like BCC yourself so that you get every response, but you will see the response in your email. So cool, let's continue with this and let's just test this. Ooh, okay, so there's a bit of an error. Our recipient address required. Ooh. Ooh. How do I fix this error? I'm gonna map, but cool. Respondent email. I'm just gonna map it to that for now and remove this, and let's test the step. Cool. The message was sent to Gmail about 3 seconds ago. So essentially you will get some errors. You just kind of always have to make sure that you get this tick here. This is when you know the automation is working, and just make sure that you always map it to this response, right? So I'm just going to say WhatsApp and say welcome email. Cool. So I can just publish this, and let's see how it works. So what I want to do is I'm just going to copy this respondent link, and then let's go with another Gmail account. Cool. So we're just gonna bring this in here, and awesome. So we can say, hey, my name is Ali. My email. Oh, not this email. Not this. phone number, 064 Cool, what I need help with? Let's say business intelligence. Looking forward to working with you. Awesome, man. And you just submit this. Cool. Let's see if this works. So let's see how long it takes for all of this to land. Cool, it does take some time. But essentially, now that I have this response, as you can see the side, here is the full response. You get this part with Google Docs, with Google Forms, and obviously you can link it to your sheets so that this works way better. But yeah, let's see if this lands anytime soon. It is a bit slow. Cool. So there was a bit of an error in the previous step, right? So essentially I did submit the form, but there was no email, right? So what I'm doing is I am basically coming back here. This is the response from the previous step. And I just want to continue with this record. It's just so that the automation knows which steps I want it to use, right? So it always helps when you add data into your Google form so that by the time you map your data on the send email, you have sample data, right? So the to part is very important. So this is when you're able to map to, for example, email. If you saw in the last step, the email part was not available. We were using the respondent email. So that's why there was a bit of an error, right? So we come in back here and we choose this part, right? Everything stays the same. We're not really changing everything. We're just fixing the error. And yeah, we can say from, and you select this. Oh, that was the other error. We didn't choose where the email is coming from. Awesome. And then just continue. We can retest the step. Right. And we can publish it. Just call it 2. Awesome. So as you can see, this is working, and essentially this is then the response, right? So this was the test. So as you can see, it came in 0 minutes ago. So it literally just came in, and this response is basically this right here, right? So the great part about this is if you're creative enough, you can really come up with something quite more exciting than this, right? This is really just the tutorial on how you can fix the errors, add some automation to your business just so that it looks way more professional. And yeah, so now whenever people fill in this form, then yeah, they get an automatic email. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. If you need any business automation help with this, email is in my bio, or you can fill in this form and you should get a similar response. So yeah, awesome. See you in the next tutorial.